I wanted to bring today's episode to the podcast talking about how to navigate the holiday season when you're on the fertility journey. And there can be a lot of triggers during this time of year with well-meaning advice from family and friends and coworkers asking you, when are you having kids? So we wanted to talk about, rather than reacting, how to respond and how to deal with if you're going to be spending long stretches of time with family and friends that have children, what to do. And really, this is all about feeling what feels right for you. So excited for you to listen to this episode. Hope you get some strategies and some peace of mind to know how to navigate this time of year with ease. So feel free to leave a review on iTunes.
Hey there, I regularly speak with 5 to 10 couples per week who are struggling to have their baby. And although we want to help everyone, we only have 2 spots available per month to work with us. So the Supercharge Your Fertility Discovery call is for action takers and really people who are ready to move forward so they can finally have their baby. And if you're not ready and you wait, the risk is you'll need to wait 2 to 3 months for a spot to open up. So if you're seriously considering working with us, go to FabFertile, FabFertile.com and click on book a free call. Then you'll be all booked in and ready to spend 30 minutes to give you the action plan to getting pregnant naturally. That's FabFertile, FabFertile.com and click on book a free call.
That's one of the biggest reasons why we want to avoid these events is because we don't want that question to come up. It puts us in touch with our own grief and reminds us. It makes us think that other people are also judging us, and they're not. People are just trying to make small talk with you. They're not sitting there analyzing and thinking why you're not pregnant yet.
Welcome to Get Pregnant Naturally, where functional medicine and natural fertility solutions will help you get pregnant and have your baby.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Clark, and my mission is to inspire, motivate, and empower you. Most of all, I want you to wake up. So with functional medicine, we can discover what causes infertility and eventually reverse the condition. Today, I'm welcoming Amira Posner back to the podcast, and we're digging into holiday triggers and how to cope. Check out episode number 1, where Amira shares her own journey with male factor infertility and what to do when you go down the infertility rabbit hole of research. So Amira and I work very close together. We co-facilitate the online Mindfulness Fertility Series. This is a 6-week online program that helps embrace your fertility journey, proven relaxation techniques, and stress management strategies that help you regain control and cope with infertility in a much more positive way. Our next session starts on January the 30th. 2020, and all you need to do is to hop on the wait list is go to FabFertile, FabFertile.shop/mindfulness and sign up for the wait list. So Amira is Healing Infertility's lead counselor. She's a professional therapist with Bachelor and Masters Degree in Social Work from the University of Manitoba. She also has formal training in hypnotherapy, Reiki, and the relaxation response. And before we jump into today's show, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this to make sure you never miss an episode. Hey, Amira, excited to have you back on the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here, Sarah.
Awesome. So today we are digging into some holiday triggers, and I really wanted to do this episode for this time of year because it can be difficult as we're trying to navigate parties and family get-togethers and friends, and well-meaning advice that we receive could then just send us down a freaking spiral of, oh my goodness, and then we've lost days, hours, months of being hit by someone's typically well-meaning, the majority of people, comments. So we wanted to kind of give you some tips and some tricks to be able to help you navigate this season in a way that feels right for you.
Yeah, definitely. It can be a very difficult time. A lot of family things going on, a lot of pressure to be extroverted and celebrate. And I think when you're struggling with infertility, you don't necessarily want to celebrate, right? You see a lot of families at family functions, and it can be a trigger, and it's a family holiday. So it reminds you sort of what you've been working so hard towards and what's lacking.
Yeah, so let's kind of dig into, first of all, let's dig into party invitations. And these are ones where you can actually be selective. We don't need to say, and I get excited and want to say yes to everything because it's like, oh, it'll be fun. But then I end up doing too much, and then I get exhausted, and then it's just like this whole downward spiral. And then you may go to something, and when you're dealing with infertility, you may not be on your best. You may not feel the best, and then you may get triggered. So it is to be selective with the ones that you say yes to. Maybe if there's ones with a lot of children, that maybe you don't have to go to that one.
I think it's really dependent too on like where you're at in your treatment and your cycle and just where you're at emotionally, right? Although it's nice to give an early RSVP, sometimes if your friend understands what you're going through, you can kind of see how you feel closer to the time of the event, right? Or maybe you're the type of person that really needs to plan. So then you would look over your invitations and discuss it with your partner and see, what it is you feel like going to. This is also your holiday, and sometimes saying no is saying yes to you, right?
And to know potentially that you could feel guilty, that some of the ones, even if it's maybe some like your best friend or close friends that you want to go to the event, but then when you really think about it, it's not really the right fit for you. And then being able to have that conversation with the person, or maybe if it's not as close a person, you can simply say no. You don't need to give a reason why. A lot of stereotypically women want to say, I can't come, and then this long-winded reason why, and it could just be, no, I can't make it.
I find it so interesting. Sometimes I'll see women in my practice who they'll go, like they cannot say no. The guilt or just the feelings of, that they're going to have to deal with or supersede the pain that they're going to experience. And if you're that type of person, then that's okay. But then maybe you want to set boundaries around your visit, right? Like, let's go for a certain amount of time, right? So if you're in the 2-week wait, like you're not going to be drinking. So, maybe we have another party to go to after, but making an appearance.
Yeah, to say you can come late and leave early. You don't need to be like the first one there and the last one to leave. And
right.
And a lot of this is really thinking of yourself, and that can feel selfish, but that really is the epitome of self-care. Going, wait a minute, okay, I'm trying to please other people in this situation. I know, potentially they might be disappointed, but what I need right now is this, and to acknowledge that, yeah, potentially you could feel guilty, which is completely normal. But wait a minute, it's like, is the feeling of guilt, then if you have other emotions that you're going to feel, like anger or frustration or sadness when you're there, being triggered, is, to be able to say, wait a minute, I want to see what feels best for me. And sometimes it might even be the day of or the day before, and you're like, you know what, I'm just not feeling it. I'm going to say, no, thank you.
Right. Yeah. And it's important to put yourself first, especially like during this time, when you're most likely taking some time off work and having the time to restore your energy and take a little break, right? And you need to have your own celebration. And part of that is doing what makes you feel good, either way, whatever it is you choose.
And so that's party invitations. Now with family and close friends, so that can be a little bit different. First of all, you can start by spending time with couples who don't have children. Surprisingly enough, on my fertility journey, I was like the opposite. I had a group of like 10 to 12 of us, and no one had kids. And they chose not to have children, and they didn't really want to hang around children at all. So we were always, when we had children in the earlier days, we were the odd man out. They were like, oh, I don't want to be around you.
That's so unusual.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, so for me, it was, we'd hang out with this group of people, and no one was talking about kids. And so if you have some people that, don't have children, maybe choosing to spend time with them.
Right, or just spending time with your partner, just the two of you, that's okay too. Doesn't need to be all about extended family, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times, other times is you could host the party, because then you control kind of the venue. You could be busy preparing things, so you're not, left making chit chat with people. If that feels right for you, if you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, then maybe hosting a party is not what you want to do, but it might help to keep you busy, and also remind you that you already are a family with your partner. So the two of you guys together hosting an event. And yeah, I think the part about, like, if there's conversations in there that you don't want to be stuck having, that being busy could keep your mind off of it.
Totally. if you're like in between treatments and you're taking a break from a cycle, you can always get really, really, really wasted. And then, that will make it a lot easier to interact. That was more of a joke.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if you can have some wine and enjoy the party, right? Yeah, during the month of December, during the holiday season, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna forget about the diet piece, forget about all this stuff, and just I'm gonna start fresh in the new year. Obviously, if you've got
myself go.
Yeah. Obviously, if you've got high food sensitivities, you listen to this podcast. If you got high food sensitivities, we don't recommend doing that. But there is a piece where you're like, wait a minute, how do we enjoy and be present, and then do things that light you up.
Obviously, that's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And so the key here with your family is to either again, the thing about coming late and leaving early. So you're not going to be like, if your family, there's a lot of nieces and nephews for you. You don't need to stay over the night before and then spend days with kids. And if there's a new baby there as well, in addition to the family, so you're not there the whole time. So you could come late and leave early. So you're still spending time, or you could have a conversation, with your family saying, this year, you know what, I think we're going to take a pass and we're going to maybe take a vacation, or we're going to celebrate by ourselves if it is too painful for you. But to be able to have that conversation with people so they understand. And then also a piece in there about like people that are close to you, how you want them to handle things. So what's some
I think if people are close to you and they know and they're in on what's going on, then being vocal and how they can support you. And maybe that's being there to listen, or maybe it's giving you permission to not come to the event, or maybe it's just sitting with you when all the family's around, or maybe it's them pouring you that glass of wine. Mm-hmm. It's just, what is it that you need from those people that are the closest, that you allow yourself to feel vulnerable with?
Yeah, I know when I was going through infertility, I don't even think I would have thought about this. Like, what do I need right now? Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. I never, and a lot of people, when I say that to them, they're like, oh, I don't really know. So to be able to sit with yourself and talk to your partner and like, wait a minute, how do I want to have, how do I want the holiday season to go? And what do I want to tell a select few that we're trying, and that it's, that it's been tough, or maybe I don't feel comfortable doing that. So to figure out who you want to tell, who you don't want to tell, and also like responses. This is another one. Actually, we'll get to that one in a minute. When you're at a party, of kind of how do you respond to that, to some comments. I think around with like the family side of things, potentially you could host a party, as we say, come late, leave early, and consider spending time with couples who don't have children.
Right.
And then you could also do things like starting a new tradition for you, like you and your partner. Like, what is a tradition that you guys want to do?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I often, like in my own celebration around the time of the year, just connecting back to things that used to make me happy when I was little and growing up, and driving downtown and seeing the Christmas lights, and just sitting in the mall and watching all the people do their shopping. It can be very seasonal, and remembering back to when you were little and what made it special for you.
Yeah, for us it was always like doing a big bake-a-thon, so Christmas cookies. So now we're like obviously gluten and dairy and corn free. So now we do a whole cookie thing where we then have cookies for the season, because my husband used to love his mom making all these cookies, and he's like, oh, what are we going to eat now? What, that we're gluten free and change the diet. So we now make our own baked cookies. They are freaking delicious. Yeah, they're good.
Oh,
yeah. Last year he did Nanaimo bar, all gluten and dairy free. That was a good one. A whole pan of them, and a lot of enjoying those. So like those new traditions of looking at the lights or going out, whatever is a tradition you'd like
skating.
To have. Yeah,
skating.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Karaoke.
Yeah, I like to.
Sleigh riding.
Yeah, sleigh riding. Yeah, karaoke. Yeah, I did a girlfriend's weekend a couple weekends ago, and geez, I had like a 4-hour dance marathon in this Airbnb that we rented. I
Did
don't
you
know.
sing your heart out, Sarah?
It was like, and it was like an 80s revival. And then it was a whole, cause I liked glam rock. I was into Guns N' Roses and ACD. So we had a whole like headbanger thing. And then I saw a picture of myself and I'm like, Sarah, you were not dancing. You were jogging. I was jogging. What I was doing. Oh God. I didn't even have that many drinks, but anyway, so it was fun. So just like whipping it up with and having fun with my girlfriend. So that was good.
So great.
Yeah. So, and then another one we have, so, okay, this is when you're at an event and to really prepare and answer, because you're going to get the question and it's kind of like, oh, you know, what are you doing for the holiday season? Like these sort of small talk questions that we get, you know, how's the weather and do you have kids?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we want to avoid these events is because we don't want that question to come up because it puts us in touch with our own grief and reminds us, and it makes us think that other people are also judging us. And that's the first thing. They're not. It's so charged for us that no matter, people are just trying to make small talk with you. They're not sitting there analyzing and thinking why you're not pregnant yet or why you don't guys have kids. So that's important. So for them, it's not as charged, but of course it's upsetting. So depending on, again, where you're at and what type of person you are will be sort of how you decide to respond. You know, I was meeting with a woman yesterday and it was, she was talking about how someone recently had asked her if she's pregnant or made a comment saying, I heard you were pregnant. It was some guy that she saw at a party, like an old friend. And she was so upset by it. You know, she thought she should have just put him in his spot and said, well, I just had a miscarriage and we just completed IVF and, you know, just to, you know, why do people ask like that? But she didn't, said no, and we're working on it, which is an answer that a lot of people give.
Yeah, we're busy. Yeah, we're busy trying. We're working on it. Or if you're close enough to the person, because it could be in those situations where you feel like hitting them with, oh wait, I've had multiple miscarriages and failed IVFs,
right?
And you know, I'm not doing well right now, and it's kind of like, even though that might feel, I think it's to gauge the response, and maybe before you head in, have your response prepared because it could come out, you know, at a moment, and maybe that feels right for you to come out. I've had people just say, you know what, it feels freaking liberating for me to just finally tell people like, this is what's going on, and I don't really care anymore.
Right, exactly. Like people will always make their comments regardless of what it is you're dealing with. I have a memory of my own. It was the first time I went out after the birth of my first child. I was 8 weeks postpartum, got all dressed up. First time I went out with my husband, we went to a party. I walked in the door and someone came up to me and asked me if I was pregnant. Right? So it's never ending. People are people and they're going to make comments regardless. And this is a very sensitive one. It's not anything about you. It's not anything they mean personally. So just responding, not letting it bother you. It was what it was. It was inconsiderate. It was insensitive. Often the people that make the comments, you'll see they're not your good friends, not people you're close to, generally speaking.
Yeah, so it's to have a response prepared for people maybe you don't know. If it's someone that you trust, then you can give them a few details. But I think, again, not feeling pressured to share if you don't want to. This is not about, like, if you're the kind of person that wants to share, then great. But if it doesn't feel right for you, do not feel pressured to do that.
Right.
And also to know, like, even the question is going to hit your buttons and potentially trigger you. Kind of like, why are they saying this? Like you said, how inconsiderate. How dare they, you know?
But you're not alone. Lots of people all over the world are dealing with the same thing. Right? And when you put yourself out there and you decide I'm going to, you know, go out and enjoy, then it's a risk you take. But it's not a reason that you shouldn't go. It's not a good enough reason.
Yeah, so it's like to take a deep breath before, and we talk a lot about this in our mindfulness fertility series, about instead of reacting and responding. So taking a deep breath and think about your prepared response, which can be hard, right? When we're like, oh my God, really? This person just asked me this? Are you kidding me? But to think about it and to respond. And then you can also kind of just say, Another response would be, I don't really know, and then shift the conversation. How's work?
Right.
How's whatever, and shift it back to them, because most times in these situations, people just want to talk about themselves.
You know what I used to say, actually? It's really sad now when I think back to it. When we were struggling with secondary infertility and people used to ask when we're going to have another one, I used to say, we're not. I don't know if we are.
Mm.
Yeah, I just felt like that would just kind of stop it and they never ask again.
Nope. People were like, okay, move on.
Yeah, but their comments or their asking has nothing to do with your success, right? It's just feeling it's so overwhelming for you that now you're out in public in the community and it's being put back in your face. Similarly, if you're around family during the season and you hear people tell you that they're pregnant, which isn't uncommon, that can also be very triggering.
Especially if there's been a new addition to your family and maybe the little baby is there and people want you to hold the child to kind of figure out what you want to do. Some people are like, oh, this is wonderful. Even though I'm dealing with I'm on the fertility journey, holding a baby, I actually love that. Other people, it's too painful to figure out what feels right for you in that situation if you're around like a new addition.
Right, exactly. And every situation's different.
And yeah, we talk about it in the Mindfulness Fertility series too, about perspective. And although you're going through a hard time right now, there's others too that are struggling. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sometimes when we're dealing with this struggle, we're very much insulated in our own bubble and it's all consuming, but sometimes we don't forget that everyone around us is also struggling. Struggling is built into our human condition. So even though their struggle may be different than what we're struggling with, we're as humans experiencing common emotions. So tapping into that and recognizing sort of we all have the same framework and background we're coming at this with. Yes, they may have children, they may be pregnant, so they're dealing with others. And when we can connect to that, it makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so in our Mindfulness Fertility series, we talk about a number of techniques such as mindfulness and loving kindness, meditation, to harness feelings of joy and love and kindness, which balance some of the negative emotions that are so strong in the ups and downs of the journey.
Okay. And then, so the perspective of being able to really, as the human condition, we're all struggling.
Right.
And even though, during this fertility journey, it is very painful, but everyone kind of is going through their own thing. And that kind of helps to shift things a little bit for people.
Right. Like the grass isn't so green, or it's not always greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of this comes back to like self-care, and we're in the middle of this self-care buzzwords but it is actually during this time, like what feels good for you, and setting boundaries around where, what you say yes to, what you say no to, doing things that light you up, spending time with people that, make you happy, make you laugh. And maybe for you, it's spending time with your partner and staying in and watching a holiday movie, or starting your own traditions, or
spending time in nature, for walks,
a hike,
sleeping in.
Oh yeah.
Just doing things for yourself.
Another good one too is volunteering your time. Mm-hmm. So this is from positive psychology. So doing something for others has been proven to increase happiness levels.
Yeah.
So studies from positive psychology have found that helping others improves life satisfaction and leads to greater fulfillment. So volunteering your time at a shelter, or shopping for someone, food bank, or helping a family in need, snow shoveling, warm meals, like whatever feels right for you. But the volunteering and the holiday time can be really, actually, it's for you.
Right. Just giving and seeing a different way of living. Oftentimes those less fortunate gives perspective.
The giver actually receives a lot of joy.
Right. In a different way than what you're used to right now.
Mm-hmm. So I think at the end of the day, it's really to honor your feelings. So allow yourself to feel sad or depressed or angry, frustrated, whatever it is, to honor those feelings, not just to stuff them down inside to say, wait a minute, okay, right now I'm feeling triggered and I may react. So maybe I need to take myself out of the situation. I need to back up a little bit. I need to take a breath, which can be hard. Like we all have those things that you just see red and you're like, are you kidding me? But the honoring of your feelings is really important. And if you need to spend time in silence, that can be really beneficial too, of just saying, you know what, I need like 5 minutes a day where I'm just going to either sit in meditation or listen to some visualization or affirmation, something that's just sort of makes you feel grounded and just it gives some peace. So that might be beneficial as well.
Yeah, I think also recognizing that we can have more than one feeling at the same time. So we can feel joy, we can feel jealousy, we can feel happy and sad all at once. And feelings usually come and go. And some of the work we do in our group is identifying what feelings are coming through us and allowing ourselves to accept them and then bring ourselves back to the present. So in a holiday season, there's a lot going on and it's filled with mixed emotions. And just riding the flow of it all is helpful. And so I think your suggestion about, spending 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day listening to something that grounds you, it's like an anchor, can help you when you eventually do need to make your way out to the party, if you decide to go.
Yeah, to feel what feels right for you.
Right.
So yeah, and so if you're interested in our mindfulness fertility series, we run this twice a year. We had our last one in September. The next one is starting January the 30th, 2020. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Yeah. So we got the wait list going on right now. I'll put a link in the show notes. So basically you just go to Fab Fertile and then go to shop and then mindfulness series and click on wait list. And then you can add yourself to the wait list. So it's a 6-week in-person group. Mind body, exactly. Group program. We meet. Yeah. So it's starting at Thursday, January the 30th, and each class is about 90 minutes. And then you get support in between. And a lot of it is the support you get from other people that are in a similar situation to you. On the fertility journey. And so in a group, and it can be very, I've said this before, but showing compassion to someone else that's going through this journey can then shine that compassion back on you. So if that feels like something that feels right for you, especially if you're going through a treatment, an IUI or an IVF, or obviously if you're trying to get pregnant naturally, the mindset is key. And we find a lot of people coming in a very dark place, and then after a short period of time, after 6 weeks, they emerge with this little toolkit and just quite a shift in perspective. They're able to then cope with some of these things that sent them into a dark spiral before. Yeah, definitely. If that feels of interest to you, you can sign up for the wait list, and it starts January the 30th. Anything you'd like to say about that, Amira? Yeah, I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for the holidays and for our group next year. Yeah, no kidding. I'm like, where'd this year go? Like, what has happened? We had like an ice storm here this week, so it's been chilly in the Toronto area. So wherever you are, hope you're keeping warm, or if you're in a warm place, hope you're keeping cool. Excited for you to enjoy the holiday season, whatever feels right for you. And if you need any support, feel free to reach out. So take care, everyone. Thank you.
Hey there, I regularly speak with 5 to 10 couples per week who are struggling to have their baby. And although we want to help everyone, we only have 2 spots available per month to work with us. So the Supercharge Your Fertility Discovery call is for action takers, really people who are ready to move forward so they can finally have their baby. And if you're not ready and you wait, the risk is you'll need to wait 2 to 3 months for a spot to open up. So if you're seriously considering working with us, go to Fab Fertile, FABfertile.com, and click on book a free call. Then you'll be all booked in and ready to spend 30 minutes to give you the action plan to getting pregnant naturally. That's Fab Fertile, FABfertile.com, and click on book a free call. The Get Pregnant Naturally podcast, including show notes and links, provides information with respect to healthy living, nutrition, lab testing, and is intended for informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor is it to be construed as such. We cannot guarantee that the information provided on the Get Pregnant Naturally podcast reflects the most up-to-date medical research. Information is provided without representation or warranties of any kind. Please consult a qualified physician for medical advice and always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health and nutrition program.